Hey guys, what's up? It's imuRgency and welcome back to my channel. Oh my god. Euphoria is back and better than ever. Literally, season 2, episode 1. So much happened in this episode. They really promised and delivered. After such a long break, I'm so glad that they're picking up exactly where they left off and coming out with an absolute banger of an episode. Like I said, so much went on in this episode and we're going to break it down right now. But before we do that, if you are new to the channel, then subscribe, turn on post notifications, and leave a like on this video because this all help out this channel so much. Also, if you want to see more from me, you can follow me on my social medias here at imuRgency. Oh, also one more thing, I have a second channel that I'm starting up for like vlogs and more lifestyle kind of content, so go check that out in the description down below, Rumi Robinson. But yeah, let's talk about Euphoria. So this is gonna be more so of like an episode breakdown with my thoughts on the episode as well as my predictions for how I think that season 2 is going to go based on this episode and some things that have been going on in like different previews and interviews and such. So this is all complete spoilers, so if you have not seen the first episode of season 2 of Euphoria, I recommend you do that before watching this video, or if you have no plans of watching Euphoria, which I don't know why you would, then just watch along. But season 2 started off with a bang. We actually started off with a flashback from Fez's childhood, and I really enjoyed that flashback because I feel like Fez was one of the characters last season that got like the least development in terms of like getting to know who he actually is as a person. So getting to know his childhood, how he and Ashtray really met, as well as getting to know who his grandma was really refreshing. And I really love his grandma. Like the energy she exudes, like the accent that she has, top tier. And overall, it's just really nice to see who the woman in the back of Fez's room on like life support kind of is, or who really she was before she was at that point. Because at first when the show initially aired, I thought that Fez's grandma was just gonna be like a throwaway character, like something that he just said in passing and wouldn't actually be involved in the show. But actually seeing how she was and how she contributed to how he grew up was really nice. And this whole episode I feel like is giving the audience like a big update on like how each of these characters are doing post season 1. This all takes place in like the span of like New Year's Day, so actually really relevant. I liked how they did that with like planning and all of that, because New Year's was literally like a couple weeks ago, so you're like, oh my god, Euphoria is here with us, oh my god, this is real. But no, besides Fez, the next character that we get an update on is Rue, and Rue really is not looking too hot. Rue has 100% relapsed back into her substance issues after Jules left her in season 1, and she's hanging out with Fez. They end up getting into a drug bust with one of Fez's associates and this one girl, Faye, who took me out. Like I made a couple TikToks just reacting to Rue and Faye's conversations. Like, what's going on with Homegirl's lips? What's going on with her lips? She's funny. I love her energy. It's just like the way that Rue tells her that it's New Year's and she's like, oh, my boyfriend doesn't tell me anything. Like, love that energy for her. But I felt like that whole scene of like them getting caught in the drug bust and then having to like strip and then go through that whole drug dealing really just set the tone for the season, showing that things are getting real. Like things are getting really real for these high schoolers, and that this season is going to really get into it, be really mature, not be afraid to show us anything and everything, because they did a lot of that this season. I saw a lot of things that I didn't know could be shown on television. In many side notes, Zendaya herself even said that season 2 is going to be a lot darker, or what word she said? She said mature in a tweet, and I'm really excited to see how that actually pans out, because I feel like Euphoria season 1 was pretty dark, but the fact that we're going to get even darker and more mature is kind of concerning, because I really don't know how far they're going to take it, for better or for worse. And we'll get more into that when I'm talking about this season's predictions. But I feel like the majority of this episode has to revolve around the messiness, specifically around Cassie and the one we all hate, Nate. I was rewatching Euphoria all this week before this episode actually aired, and it really reminded me how much I hate Nate Jacobs, and this episode just put the nail in the coffin. Like, I despise Nate Jacobs. Like, his whole thing with Cassie, like, Cassie's already drunk and heartbroken, identity crisis, like, doesn't know who she is on her own. And I'm putting the blame mostly on Nate just because he was pursuing her actively and like flirting with her when she was like already drunk. Like, at that time he was sober and she was drunk, but they end up hooking up, and that's so weird. Like, Cassie, why? And also Nate, why? Like, of all the people, I did not expect those two to actually end up getting together. I really don't know why, but I did not see them actually getting together. And it's gonna be so messy now because that's Maddie's ex. That is fully Maddie's ex. And that is also Nate Jacobs. Like, that whole car scene where they were drinking and driving and speeding on that road gave me secondhand anxiety, especially when Cassie stuck her head out that window. Like, it was giving Hereditary tease. Like, I was concerned for Cassie's safety. But then when they ended up doing what they did, I was like, I don't like where this is going. I really don't like where this is going. Because from Nate's perspective and Nate's side, this really seems like he's doing this to like either get back at Maddie or get back at McKay, or even just like try and prove to himself that he's really into women, because after season 1 we know that that's probably not true.
It's not like anyone's 100% straight or 100% gay.
Oh, that is 100% bullshit.
And that's why you like boys.
But it's just like very strange that he'd choose to do this. Like, it's definitely not giving like clear motives. And this was shown even more in that weird scene between McKay and Nate. After McKay talks to Cassie, Nate's like all in his face asking him some really personal and really gross questions. Like, it's giving like the way he's talking about Cassie makes it sound like Nate wants to do those things to McKay, and or he's like rubbing it in without rubbing it in. Like, it's giving like real manipulator. Like, someone needs to shut Nate down. But thankfully, at the end of this episode, someone did. Daddy Fez. Daddy Fez shut that shit down. Like, with the crack of a bottle and a couple of punches, little Nathaniel out like a light. And to that, thank you, Fez. You are the hero of this episode, and maybe even the season, who knows. And I feel like the character that I've not spoken about yet, that is arguably the second most important character, or second most main character in this show, Jules. I feel like Jules was not really in this episode. Like, she was in this episode, but she wasn't in this episode, you know? I feel like compared to all the other characters, she had the least amount of screen time, and really all she did was look into the camera and look good. All she did was her face. Like, that's literally all she did. Like, all the different scenes where she just like literally just serving face with that little eye look, like shade down. But in terms of like lines and like actual substance, not too much. He walks up, looks for Rue, finds out Rue relapsed, and is like, oh my god, you make me sad, and then they kiss. And then that's like it. Which means like, okay, we have a whole season to like develop Jules and Rue. I don't know how they're gonna end up the season, because now they seem like they're okay, but for reasons I will get into in literally just a second, it seems like there's going to be trouble in paradise. And I feel like that's a beautiful transition, because now I really want to get into my predictions for what I think season 2 is going to be like, what's going to happen in season 2 based on the information that's provided and based on vibes that I'm personally feeling. And if I'm right, I'm gonna be happy. Y'all can give your little kudos to me, even though most of it's probably predictable because they're actively telling you. But here are my predictions for what's going to happen with the rest of season 2. So based on what the showrunners said themselves describing season 2, they described season 1 as like a 2 a.m. party, whereas season 2 is more like it's 5 a.m. past the time when you should have gone home. Those kind of vibes where you're like out too late and you're seeing things that you maybe wouldn't have or shouldn't have seen otherwise. And that, paired with Zendaya's comment about things being really dark and mature, makes it feel like we're going to see some really traumatic stuff. And honestly, pairing those things together, I'm really seeing a lot of internal turmoil, like seeing people's true colors type beat. For that, I'm thinking like really Cassie and Maddie, and maybe even like Rue and Jules, to be honest. Like, I feel like at the end of the season there's going to be a lot of different dynamics, and I don't feel like everyone's gonna be friends, nor are they going to actually like genuinely like each other. In terms of like specifics though, based on the little preview at the end of episode 1, they showed a couple snippets of like things that are going on for like the rest of the season and for episode 2. And just from gathering that, I feel like the season Rue is going to go through like the absolute worst of her addiction. Like, she's going to hit rock bottom, or even lower, to be honest. And I feel like she might end up on the brink of either that, or her actions because of her addiction or like related to her addiction are going to lead to someone else's. Probably my prediction, hate to say it, it's probably gonna be Fez. Like, I feel it coming. Like, I feel like Fez is being set up and giving that development because he's going to end up being taken out because of Rue's actions, and I feel like because of that, Rue's gonna want to get better. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just like the vibe that I'm getting. Pivoting, I also think unfortunately that Cassie is going to spend most of this season trying to hide around Maddie and trying to like keep up this lie that she didn't hook up with Maddie, and I really hate that for her character. I hope I'm wrong. I'm praying I'm wrong, because I really hate that trope of like the whole like beat around the bush, or like trying to avoid suspicion, or just being guilty, just keeping something over someone's head. Like, I really hate that trope, especially when it comes to two female characters, because both their characters end up revolving around a single man, and that man being Nate Jacobs at that. Like, No. I want individual development, please. But I know eventually Maddie's going to find out because it's Maddie. And I really feel like she's either going to have a very visceral reaction or she's going to have no reaction at all. And it's going to be no in between. It's simply going to be those two. And jumping back to Fez, I feel like since the focus was on him so much in episode 1, I feel like we're going to be following him a lot more and seeing him have the repercussions of like getting his new client with like the drug lady, as well as facing the repercussions of like beating up Nate Jacobs. I could see him having like a little on the run era, or even just having to like go into hiding because things go wrong. And like I said, I feel like he might croak. Praying that he doesn't, but I see those heavily. And also, mini thing I want to talk about, him and Lexi, Cassie's sister, very interesting segment. At first, I was really like, oh my god, I really hope they're together. And then two things. One, seeing her reaction after he beat the living crap out of Nate Jacobs. Well, I mean, like, I get it. You don't want to date a violent guy, but it's also Nate Jacobs. But two, I then realized the age gap. Because you see, while Fez hangs around high schoolers a lot, he did drop out a while ago. And according to like the Euphoria wiki, he's like in his 20s. And Lexi's sister is not. She's still in high school. It's like giving 16, 17, which is a little strange. Like that's very strange. So I hope nothing comes of that because it's not giving legal. But let me know what you think about that one. I also think this season that Nate is going to get outed in some way, shape, or form. It's definitely not going to be him. He's not going to be like, you know what, I think I actually like guys. No. I feel like he's going to be outed by someone. And my one hope is that he does not become a good person after he becomes outed. Like, I hope that his character doesn't change just because he is now part of the LGBTQIA+. Because like that's a dangerous trope. I saw someone make a TikTok about this because it's not a good trope to have someone who's like a toxic man suddenly become good just because he's a little, you know? So I hope if he gets outed that he still keeps like his asshole tendencies and is just a gay or bi asshole. And finally, my last prediction is that Rue is going to get herself in collective sigh, everybody. A love triangle. Based on the little preview that they showed before, it seems like Rue's gonna get in a love triangle with Jules and whoever that, I forgot that boy's name, the cute boy with the curly hair that was doing drugs with her. I feel like they're gonna get into a love triangle and I really don't know how that goes because y'all know, if y'all have been on my channel before, y'all know how I feel about love triangles. I absolutely hate them because they're so played out. I hope they do something interesting and innovative with it. Imagine if they do like a Gossip Girl and they get into like a throuple, or like they figure it out, or like it's just like a non-issue. Like I really hope this isn't just like a full season thing because I'm so tired of seeing love triangles. Like they're played out. We already know how they end. Either no one wins, period. But yeah, I'm really hoping that doesn't end the way I think it does. But I think that is where I will leave off for this episode, y'all. Let me know your thoughts about what you thought about this episode, this season, what your predictions are down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content and enjoy this sort of like episode breakdown, I can have this be like a weekly thing where we come in like chat about Euphoria. Let me know about that also in the comments below. Again, if you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button and turn on my post notifications, as well as leaving a like on this video because all of that helps me out so much. So please, we're on the road to 100K, baby. Like, please help me out. If you're not already, make sure to follow me on my socials here at imuRgency and subscribe to my new channel down in the description below. I think that's all I have to plug. But other than that, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I've been imuRgency and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.